I never thought I'd be the one to say this on a public platform, but 3i Atlas just responded, and it didn't use our language. Before we begin, I need you to do something for me. Comment your city name below and tell me, have you noticed anything unusual in the night sky lately? Anything at all? NASA is quietly collecting reports from civilians across the globe. And what I'm about to share with you may fundamentally change the way you see humanity's place in the universe. What I'm about to reveal is not speculation, it's not science fiction. It's happening right now above our heads, beyond our atmosphere, in the cold silence of interstellar space. And for the first time in human history, we are not the ones asking the questions. Let me take you back. That's when we first detected it, 3i Atlas. At the time, we thought it was just another interstellar object, much like Oumuamua before it, a cosmic wanderer drifting through our solar system, a relic from some distant stellar nursery billions of years old. The designation itself was mundane, 3i, meaning the third interstellar object ever detected, followed by Atlas, the survey system that found it. We cataloged it. We observed its trajectory. We measured its velocity, its albedo, and its spectral signature. Everything pointed to a simple comet: water, ice, organic compounds, and dust. Nothing extraordinary, nothing that would keep me awake at night. But then 3 months ago, something changed. It was a graduate student at the Arecibo Successor facility in China who first noticed it. A faint rhythmic modulation in the radio emissions coming from the direction of 3i Atlas. At first, we dismissed it as interference. You have to understand, space is noisy. Pulsars, magnetars, cosmic ray bursts, solar flares. The universe is constantly screaming at us in frequencies we barely understand. But this signal was different. It repeated. Not like a pulsar which spins with the regularity of atomic clocks. This was irregular, but intentionally so. The pauses between bursts were not random. They followed a pattern, a mathematical pattern. I was brought in to consult on the data 6 weeks ago. When I first saw the waveform on the screen, I felt my chest tighten. I've spent my entire career studying the fundamental forces of nature, the architecture of space-time, and the birth and death of stars. I've theorized about parallel universes, wormholes, and the multiverse itself, but nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for what I was looking at. The signal was not electromagnetic noise. It was structured information. We ran it through every decryption algorithm we had. We compared it to known mathematical constants, pi, e, the fine structure constant, the golden ratio. We looked for prime numbers, Fibonacci sequences, and anything that could suggest intentional communication. And then one of the linguists on the team, a woman who specializes in ancient dead languages and computational syntax, said something that stopped us all cold. This isn't a code, she said, it's a grammar. A grammar, not a language we could translate, but a system of rules that govern the structure of meaning itself. The signal wasn't trying to tell us something in our terms. It was teaching us how to think in its terms. Let me explain what that means. Human language, every single one of them, is built on a foundation of subject-verb-object relations. We think in linear sequences, cause and effect, time flowing in one direction. Our syntax reflects the way our brains process reality, one moment after another, one thought leading to the next. But the signal from 3i Atlas didn't follow that structure. It was simultaneous, multidimensional. It expressed relationships between concepts that don't exist in human cognition. It wasn't speaking to us, it was thinking at us. And that's when I realized we weren't just receiving a message, we were being tested. The team wanted to respond immediately. Of course they did. This is what we've been waiting for, isn't it? Proof of extraterrestrial intelligence. Confirmation that we're not alone. The greatest discovery in human history. But I stopped them. I insisted we wait because I had a terrible suspicion, one that I couldn't shake no matter how hard I tried to rationalize it away. What if this wasn't first contact? What if this was a warning? I started digging into the historical records of 3i Atlas, its trajectory, its origin point, and the dynamics of its journey through the galaxy. And that's when I found something that should have been obvious from the beginning, but we were all too excited to notice. 3i Atlas didn't just pass through our solar system, it decelerated. Objects in interstellar space don't slow down unless something acts on them. And the only force that could have caused the deceleration we observed was thrust, controlled thrust. which means 3I Atlas is not a comet. It's not a natural object at all. It's a probe. I felt the ground shift beneath me when I realized that. For days, I couldn't sleep. I kept running the numbers, hoping I'd made a mistake, hoping there was some exotic astrophysical phenomenon I'd overlooked. But the data was clear. 3I Atlas had been sent here. It had been watching us. And now, for reasons we don't yet understand, it had decided to speak. But here's the part that terrifies me more than anything else. When we finally managed to decode the first layer of the signal's grammar, not the content, just the structure, we found something embedded in it, a timestamp. Not in human time, not in Earth years or Gregorian calendars, but in a universal metric based on the decay rate of cesium atoms. And when we converted it, we realized that the signal had been sent exactly 14 hours after we transmitted our response to the wow signal. They heard us and they answered, but they didn't answer in a way we could understand immediately. They answered in a way that would force us to evolve our thinking, to expand our consciousness, and to become something more than we are. And that raises the most disturbing question I've ever had to confront as a scientist. What if intelligence, true intelligence, is not something we achieve, but something we're invited into? Let me explain what I mean. We've always assumed that technological advancement is a ladder. You start with fire, then the wheel, then metallurgy, agriculture, writing, mathematics, science, computers, and artificial intelligence. Each step builds on the last. We imagine alien civilizations as being somewhere on that same ladder, just higher up, more advanced. But what if that's not how it works? What if intelligence is not a ladder but a door? And what if that door only opens when you're ready to see what's on the other side? The signal from 3I Atlas is not trying to give us technology. It's not offering us warp drives or fusion reactors or cures for disease. It's offering us a new way of thinking, a new syntax for reality itself. The terrifying implication is that once we learn that syntax, once we can think in those terms, we will no longer be human, not in the way we understand that word now. We'll be something else. I've spent the last 2 weeks in a secure facility outside Geneva, working with a team of physicists, mathematicians, neuroscientists, and philosophers, including brilliant minds like Michio Kaku, trying to decode the next layer of the signal. And we've made progress, slow, painful progress. Each breakthrough feels like learning to see a new color or hearing a sound that doesn't exist in our perceptual range. It's disorienting. Some members of the team have had to step away. One woman described it as cognitive vertigo. Another man said it felt like his thoughts were no longer his own. But we're getting closer, and what we're finding is almost impossible to put into words because our words weren't designed to describe it. The signal contains a map, not of stars, not of planets, but of something far more abstract. It's a map of causality itself, a diagram of how events ripple through space-time, how choices propagate forward and backward through the timeline, and how consciousness interacts with the quantum foam of reality. It's showing us that the universe is not deterministic. It's not random either. It's participatory. We're not observing the universe. We're creating it moment by moment through the act of perception itself. And if that's true, if consciousness is the fundamental force that shapes reality, then the signal is not just a message. It's an invitation to join something, a galactic network, a cosmic symphony of minds, all thinking together, all perceiving together, and all creating reality together. But here's the part that keeps me awake at night. The signal also contains a warning. Buried deep in the syntax, in the relationships between concepts, there's a pattern that our AI systems flagged as hostile topology. We don't know exactly what that means yet, but the mathematical structure suggests a boundary, a threshold. And the implication is that if we cross it too soon, if we accept the invitation before we're ready, something catastrophic will happen. Not to us, to them. I think we're in quarantine. I think humanity is being kept isolated for a reason. Not because we're dangerous to ourselves, but because we're dangerous to the galactic consciousness. Our minds are still too linear, too binary, too rooted in conflict and competition. If we were to join the network now, we'd be like a virus in a computer system. We'd disrupt the harmony. we'd introduce chaos into a system that has been stable for billions of years. And so they're teaching us slowly, carefully, one signal at a time. They're trying to uplift us, to evolve us, to prepare us for the moment when we can finally step through that door without destroying everything on the other side. But there's something else, something I haven't told anyone outside the team yet. 3 days ago, we detected a second signal, not from 3I Atlas, from something else, something farther away. And this signal is different. It's simpler, more direct. And when we ran it through our decoding protocols, we found that it contained only one piece of information, a countdown. We have 7 years. 7 years until what? We don't know. Maybe that's how long we have to learn the new syntax. Maybe that's how long until the door closes. Or maybe, and this is the possibility that haunts me most, maybe that's how long until something else arrives, something that isn't interested in teaching us, something that sees us as a threat. I've dedicated my life to understanding the universe, to finding the elegant equations that govern reality, the symmetries that unify forces, and the patterns that connect the quantum world to the cosmic scale. I've always believed that knowledge is humanity's greatest strength, that understanding is the key to survival. But now, for the first time, I'm not sure if that's true, because what if the universe doesn't want to be understood? What if it wants to be experienced? What if the pursuit of knowledge is itself a trap, a dead end, a path that leads away from the truth instead of toward it? I look up at the night sky now, and I see it differently. I used to see stars as distant furnaces of nuclear fire, galaxies as gravitational systems billions of light years away, the cosmos as a vast clockwork machine that we could eventually decode. But now I see something else. I see minds, billions of them, trillions, all connected, all perceiving, all participating in the creation of reality itself. And I wonder, have they been watching us all along? Have they been waiting for this moment, waiting for us to finally hear the signal, to finally understand that we're not alone, that we've never been alone, that loneliness itself is an illusion created by the limits of our perception? The team wants to send a response, a proper one, using the new syntax we've learned. They think it's the next step. They think we're ready, but I'm not so sure. Because once we send that message, once we announce to the universe that we've learned their language, that we can think in their terms, there's no going back. We will have crossed the threshold. We will have accepted the invitation, and whatever happens next will no longer be under our control. I've been thinking a lot about what it means to be human, about consciousness, identity, and the sense of self that each of us carries through life. We think of ourselves as individuals, separate minds and separate bodies, each of us alone in our own skull. But what if that's wrong? What if consciousness is not local? What if the boundary between you and me, between all of us, is just an illusion? What if we're already part of the network and we just don't know it yet? The signal from 3I Atlas is still transmitting. Every day we decode a little more. Every day we understand a little more about what we're being invited to join. And every day I feel myself changing. My thoughts don't feel entirely my own anymore. I'll be working on an equation, and suddenly I'll see the solution from an angle I never would have considered before. I'll be thinking about a concept, and I'll perceive relationships I couldn't have imagined a month ago. It's subtle, it's gradual, but it's real, and I'm not the only one. Everyone on the team is experiencing it. We're synchronizing. Our thoughts are starting to align, to resonate with each other, to form a kind of collective intelligence that's greater than the sum of its parts. And I wonder, is this what they want? Is this what we're supposed to become? Or is this the first symptom of something we can't yet comprehend? I don't have answers anymore, only questions. And the biggest question of all is this: if we accept the invitation, if we step through that door and join the galactic consciousness, will we still be human? Will we still remember what it was like to be alone, to be afraid, to be uncertain? Or will all of that dissolve into something larger? Something that no longer needs names or borders or individual identity? And if that happens, if we lose ourselves in the process of becoming something more, will it be evolution or extinction? I need you to think about that. I need you to ask yourself what you would choose if you were given the choice. Because whether we like it or not, whether we're ready or not, that choice is coming. The countdown is running. And when it reaches 0, humanity will face the most important decision we've ever faced as a species. Do we stay in the quarantine, safe but isolated, clinging to our individual identities and our linear ways of thinking? Or do we step through the door, surrender to the unknown, and become part of something so vast, so incomprehensible, that we might lose everything we've ever known in the process? I wish I could tell you what the right answer is, but I don't know. I don't think anyone does. All I know is that 3i Atlas is still out there, still transmitting, still waiting for our response, and somewhere in the cold depths of space, something else is counting down. 7 years. That's all we have. 7 years to decide what humanity wants to be. I'll be here following this story as it unfolds, sharing what I learn as I learn it. If you want to follow along, if you want to be part of this journey, stay with this channel, because what comes next will redefine everything we thought we knew about consciousness, intelligence, and our place in the cosmos. But for now, I leave you with this question. If an intelligence beyond our comprehension offered you a chance to transcend your humanity, to merge with something infinite and eternal, but warned you that in doing so you might cease to exist as an individual, would you take it? And if not, what does that say about us, about what we value, about what we're willing to sacrifice in the name of survival? Comment your thoughts below, because I genuinely don't know the answer. And I suspect that in 7 years, none of us will be the same people we are today. Whether we choose the door or not, the signal is still transmitting. The countdown continues, and humanity stands at the edge of a precipice we never knew existed. What happens next is truly up to us.